The following message is being transmitted at the request of the supernova. Nixon-Darien has breached the supernova base in Philadelphia. At this time, Nixon-Darien is currently breaking into shelters, killing all occupants inside. A total of 100 survivors have been killed in the past 10 minutes. The supernova is transmitting instructions across every station in Philadelphia. The supernova orders all civilians to barricade all entrances to their shelters. If you spot Nixon-Darien in your area, hide away from him immediately. Remain out of sight at all times. Please stand by and await further instructions. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the supernova. Nixon-Darien continues to kill survivors in shelters across the city of Philadelphia. Members of the supernova are currently moving into the city. At this time, if you are receiving this message, it is strongly encouraged. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the supernova. A standoff between Nixon-Darien and Cheryl Noble is occurring within the University of Pennsylvania. Massive amounts of radioactive materials have been released from within the campus. Large crystal shards have erupted from the ground around the university. Members of the supernova are unable to assist Cheryl Noble from outside the campus. Evacuations have been halted around areas where crystals are present. The supernova advises all civilians within a 3-block radius of the university campus to remain indoors, as the supernova will be unable to reach these affected areas. Remember to lock all doors and windows, and to seal all cracks and openings in your shelter. Please stay tuned for more updates as they become available. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the supernova. Residents of northern Philadelphia are ordered to head to an underground shelter now. A massive storm cloud has formed over parts of North Philadelphia, West Kensington, and Fairhill. Frequent cloud-to-ground lightning is occurring with this storm. Multiple buildings have been damaged from these lightning strikes. The origin of this storm has been traced back to 10-year-old Sarah Ailey. Seth Ailey is currently attempting to subjugate Sarah above the city of Philadelphia. Residents of northern Philadelphia, if you plan on evacuating, shine a bright light out from your shelter to ensure that the supernova stops at your location. Be prepared to bring all necessary supplies to your shelter. If you hesitate, it may be too late. Please stand by for more information. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the supernova. Evacuations will continue through certain parts of southern Philadelphia. A standoff between Dustin and Diana Parker is occurring at the Walt Whitman Bridge. The bridge has taken substantial damage from crystal shards sent out by Diana. Because of this, evacuations into New Jersey have been halted completely. The bridge has been closed off to all drivers. If you are traveling on the Schuylkill Expressway, seek an alternate route away from the bridge. The supernova will be assisting drivers in evacuating out of Philadelphia. Stay away from Diana Parker at all times. Stay tuned for more updates as they become available. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the supernova. Travel through Roosevelt Boulevard has been suspended. Massive tendrils have erupted from the ground and have blocked access to U.S. Route 1. Several vehicles have been destroyed as a result of these tendrils. The supernova will be continuing evacuations out of the city through alternate routes. The supernova orders all survivors to remain in their shelters. Tendrils have been spotted in the following areas: Somerton and Bustleton. If you spot a tendril growing into your shelter, hide away from it or cut it with any sharp object. Bridget Wilson will be assisting the supernova with neutralizing the tendrils. Please stand by and await further instructions. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the supernova. Members of the North Star have completely surrounded the University of Pennsylvania. The North Star is currently assisting Nixon Darien from outside the campus. Evacuations near the university have been halted indefinitely, as the area is heavily guarded by North Star troops. The supernova will be sending in members to attempt to contain the situation. Contact with Cheryl Noble has not been made within the past hour. If you are within a 3-block radius of the university, remain in your underground shelters. The supernova states that multiple crystal shards have erupted from the ground outside the campus. The crystals have caused severe structural damage to buildings around the university. Stay away from the crystals at all times. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the supernova. Evacuations around the University of Pennsylvania will continue throughout the rest of the afternoon. The North Star has made their way into the campus to assist Nixon Darien. The supernova reports that Jenny Tetsu has been dispatched into the campus to assist Cheryl Noble. The supernova orders all survivors to prepare to leave their shelters to evacuate out of the city of Philadelphia. Remember to bring all essential supplies to the shelters, including food, water, and clothing. Medical assistance will be provided in the emergency shelters. If you spot a crystal shard in your shelter, stand away from it at all times. Please stand by and await further instructions. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the supernova. Residents of Philadelphia should be prepared to evacuate. The crystals are now appearing in the following areas: Spruce Hill, Cedar Park, Gray's Ferry, King Sussing, Cobb's Creek, West Philadelphia, and Brewertown. The crystals are capable of breaking and releasing spears of black mist from within. These spears are extremely dangerous. The supernova has dispatched Lydia Proctor to defend survivors from these crystals. Lydia will be deploying turrets and drones throughout these affected areas. Do not confuse Lydia's mechanized unit as a North Star robot. The supernova will continue evacuating survivors out of these affected areas. The supernova will not return to Philadelphia after the evacuations are completed. If you plan on evacuating, be prepared to leave your shelter. Please stand by. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the supernova. Residents of northeastern Philadelphia, be prepared to leave your shelters. The tendrils originating from Roosevelt Boulevard have spread throughout parts of northeastern Philadelphia. Multiple buildings have collapsed as a result of these tendrils. Several major roads have been blocked off by the debris. The supernova will be making final rounds throughout northeastern Philadelphia to transport all survivors through Pennsylvania State Route 63. Saki will be escorting all survivors out of Philadelphia. Please follow all directions given out by the supernova. Be prepared to evacuate. Bring all necessary supplies to the shelters. The supernova will not be returning to the northeastern parts of Philadelphia. If you plan on evacuating, be prepared to leave your shelter. If you hesitate, it may be too late. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the supernova. The tendrils spreading throughout northeastern Philadelphia have incapacitated Bridget Wilson. The tendrils have spread to the following areas: Ronhurst and Torresdale. The origin of these tendrils have been traced back to 20-year-old Bobby Wilson. The supernova states that Bobby has completely lost control of his mind and the tendrils are being released by the parasite fused to his body. The supernova has dispatched X, Johnny, Louise, and Darwin to attempt to destroy the tendrils and possibly liberate Bobby Wilson. Members of the supernova will continue with evacuations. If you plan on evacuating, the supernova advises all evacuees to shine a bright light out from your shelters. Please stand by and await further instructions. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the supernova. The threat of all tendrils is over. The agents have successfully neutralized Bobby Wilson and have placed him into containment. All survivors who wish to evacuate are ordered to leave their shelters now. The supernova will be finalizing all evacuations of northeastern Philadelphia. The tendrils have destroyed several roads out of the city. It is strongly encouraged to follow all directions given out by Saki if you plan to leave the city of Philadelphia. Do not attempt to leave on damaged roads. Once again, the threat of all tendrils is over, and it is safe to leave your shelters. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the supernova. The lightning storm cloud spotted above northern Philadelphia has grown in intensity. Lightning strikes have become more frequent within the past half hour. Substantial damage has been dealt to multiple buildings and infrastructure. Seth Ali continues to fight Sierra Ali above the city of Philadelphia. At last report, bloody spears have been seen falling from the skies of North Philadelphia. The supernova advises all survivors to remain underground at all times. The supernova will attempt to continue evacuations through areas affected by the storm. Please stand by and await further instructions. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the supernova. The lightning storm has caused severe damage to the Delaware generating station. As a result, the North Star military base in Philadelphia is at risk of a generator core explosion. The supernova will be concluding all evacuations out of the city of Philadelphia effective immediately. Remaining survivors are ordered to head to an underground shelter now. Bring all your essential supplies to your shelter. Place as many objects around you to reduce the impact of the explosion. The generator core is expected to explode in 10 minutes. Take cover now. This station will now go off the air. The supernova will no longer be providing updates through this station. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the supernova. A large explosion has occurred within the vicinity of the Rock Creek Cemetery. The explosion has created a wall of blue crystal shards around the cemetery. The supernova states that the wall was created to prevent Dustin Parker from receiving assistance from supernova personnel. All civilians within a 2-block radius of the cemetery should stay away from the crystals at all times. Diana Parker is extremely dangerous and should not be approached. The supernova will make all attempts to assist Dustin Parker from outside the cemetery. Please stay tuned for more updates as they become available. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the supernova. Residents in the District of Columbia, D.C., return to your homes immediately. The North Star military bases in the District of Columbia, Annapolis, and Baltimore have sent out North Star troops into the city. The group originating from the District of Columbia has surrounded the Rock Creek Cemetery. The supernova is currently attempting to hold off the remaining troops in the city. The supernova advises all civilians to head indoors and to lock all entrances to your home. Do not let any members of the North Star into your home. The North Star is considered a threat to all civilians. The supernova states that Dustin Parker is in critical condition at this time. Please stand by and await further instructions. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the supernova. Residents in the District of Columbia are advised to head to an underground shelter now. The crystal wall surrounding the Rock Creek Cemetery has shattered. The crystal shards have killed over 100 North Star troopers and 50 members of the supernova. To ensure the safety of all civilians, the cemetery has been closed off to the public. All roads near the cemetery have been closed off. Dustin Parker is making all attempts to neutralize Diana Parker at this time. Tremors and bright flashes of blue light may emanate from the cemetery. Do not panic. Remain in your homes at all times. Please stay tuned to this station for more updates as they become available. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the supernova. Diana Parker has been successfully neutralized. Residents in the District of Columbia may now leave their shelters at this time. However, the supernova advises all civilians to remain away from the Rock Creek Cemetery at this time. The whereabouts of Dustin and Diana Parker are unknown at this time. Once again, it is safe to leave your shelters at this time. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the supernova. A standoff between Cheryl Noble, Jenny Tetsu, and Nixon Darien continues at the Washington Monument. The memorial has taken substantial damage within the past hour. Heavy amounts of radioactive materials have been released within a 4-block radius of the monument. The supernova orders all civilians to remain away from the monument at all times. Nixon Darien is extremely dangerous and should not be approached. Leave the Washington Monument grounds if you have not already done so. Stay tuned for more updates as they become available. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the supernova. The Washington Monument grounds have been overrun by crystal shards and spears of black mist. Over 200 members of the supernova have been killed by Nixon Darien. The supernova has dispatched the agents into the District of Columbia to attempt to subjugate Nixon Darien. Although the threat of radioactive materials has passed, residents near the Washington Monument grounds should remain indoors at all times. Please stand by and await further instructions. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the supernova. The supernova states that the Washington Monument is at risk of collapsing. The agents have all been incapacitated by Nixon Darien. Cheryl Noble and Jenny Tetsu remain in critical condition. At this time, all civilians receiving this message are instructed The following message is being transmitted at the request of the supernova. Multiple explosions have occurred within the vicinity of the Washington Monument grounds. The explosions have collapsed several crystals throughout the park. Nixon Darien has been heavily affected by these explosions. The individuals responsible for these explosions have been identified as 25-year-old Drake and 23-year-old James. Drake and James are members of the agents and should not be considered threats to civilians. The supernova will be dispatching units into the park to assist in neutralizing Nixon Darien. It is strongly encouraged to seek shelter in the lowest part of your home. Stay tuned to this station for more updates as they become available. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the supernova. Residents in the District of Columbia, D.C., lock all of your doors immediately. The supernova orders all civilians to head to an underground shelter immediately. The supernova has surrounded Nixon Darien outside the World War II Memorial. The supernova is currently being assisted by Seth and Sarah Ailey, Dustin and Diana Parker, Bobby and Bridget Wilson, Saki, Ron Adamson, and Lydia Proctor at this time. Large tremors may occur along with lightning strikes and bright flashes of blue light. Crystal shards and tendrils may unexpectedly appear from the ground. Large robots and small chemical weapons may be used during this fight. All civilians receiving this message are instructed to head to an underground shelter now. Stay tuned to this station for more updates as this situation develops. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the supernova. Nixon Darien has been successfully neutralized at this time. The supernova is currently holding Nixon Darien at a supernova emergency shelter. The threat to all residents is over, and it is safe to leave your shelters. However, the World War II Memorial and the Washington Monument grounds have sustained severe damages, and are being closed off. The supernova advises all civilians to remain away from the closed areas. If you spot a crystal shard outside the affected areas, do not attempt to approach it. Once again, Nixon Darien has been successfully neutralized, and it is safe to leave your shelters.
Radioactive.